Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Today we're going to go over our normal schedule. One of the topics that I wanted to cover in this video is how much lower can cryptocurrencies really go, because we've been dropping for quite a while, and I'm going to go over this little picture here because it kind of represents all the previous Bitcoin crashes that we had. And we've been, in this downtrend for a while. We've lost a significant amount of value across the board. So you have to start thinking there's really a limit to how low you can go in this type of situation usually. And none of this is financial advice, but I will be talking about that in more detail. We're going to go over the general market here in just a second. Don't forget to check out my Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Link to that in the description of this video. And make sure to check out my premium content. Also have a link to that in the description as well. For a bit of news today, the Lightning Network released on the mainnet, so hopefully this will really help with Bitcoin's scalability issues, and it's definitely a step in the right direction no matter what. So definitely a bit of bullish news there. It's still in beta, of course. But for the general market, we can see that Bitcoin is experiencing a slight bounce. Same thing with Litecoin, Ripple as well. Still some cryptocurrencies that are struggling a bit. Liske actually getting a very nice bounce, up 14%. Back above that $12 area, so that's great news for Liske. And as you can see, some cryptos recovering a bit more than others, but we're in the process of stabilizing out once again. And we're still in our symmetrical triangle consolidation. I'm going to cover that in the technical analysis. But to go over the, how much lower can we really go here? Now, if we take a look at this informational picture, as you can see, some of the biggest crashes here was this one back in April of 2013. We dropped 83%, but that was in the span of 3 days. And the true biggest, largest drop that we ever experienced was right here. That was from November 2013 to January 2015, and that was an 87% correction that lasted 418 days. Now, that's very massive. On our current correction, we are down 70% about, and that's a 48-day correction for the time being. Now, could we go lower? Of course, right? We can see that we've already went lower than this. Could we go down 90%, something like that? Of course. So we still have room to move lower. I believe an 87% drop in our case right now would be would bring us to about $2,500. So what I wanted to point out was, I think it's better to think of this correction and crash, if you wanted to put it like that, in terms of thinking about Bitcoin at a lower price level, right? If Bitcoin was $100, how low could Bitcoin really go realistically, right? And it's not going to lose every single bit of its value, right? Usually a 90% correction is already massive, and something that does have something behind it, like cryptocurrency, can only go so low, in my opinion. Now, like I said, can we go lower? We definitely can, especially if we break towards the downside of the symmetrical triangle and lose our uptrend formation. That would definitely push us lower, and that would take even more time to recover. With that being said, I think that there is also an opportunity that we break towards the upside of this symmetrical triangle formation, where we break out of the downtrend line, and then we would be in the process of recovering. Now, we'll have to see what happens, but either way, we are slowing down here as far as the drop, and the only thing that could put us back into even worse of a situation would be breaking out of the uptrend line. Unfortunately, we'll just have to wait and see if that's going to happen, and we'll know once we reach the end of this formation, most likely. And of course, here we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, but this will likely reach all cryptocurrencies, and the market is so interconnected that if Bitcoin is crashing, a lot of other cryptocurrencies will probably be doing the same. Now, let's go over to actually, I'm used to doing Nano first, but we're now doing Bitcoin first. So Bitcoin, as you can see, we're hanging around this $8,000 area. Indicators still downtrending. We might start to see them flatten out a bit. I think there is a chance that we come and test this uptrend line. Probably going to get a bounce there the first time around, and we'll have to see. Usually with the symmetrical triangle formation, most of the time we do end up coming towards the end and either breaking towards the upside or downside. So we're not reaching that just yet. It's going to take at least 2 more weeks, but we're heading towards that. And as long as we stay above the uptrend line, that's all that matters. We'll have avoided the worst at that point as long as we're above that. Now let's move over to Ethereum. and take a look at what Ethereum has been up to. It looks like Ethereum is falling a bit lower. Bollinger Band's expanding quite a bit here, and that means that it's leaving some room for Ethereum to drop even lower. So definitely a fair chance that we come and test that $500 mark for Ethereum. We just crossed below the 30 line on the RSI, so that's an added bearish signal. And I think there is a chance that we stabilize a bit and come back towards the downtrend line, but my opinion is that we're probably going to be reaching this end of the formation right here, in between our support level at $500 and our downtrend line, and then we'll either get the breakout towards the upside or downside, and that's what's going to set the trend here for Ethereum. Now, let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin was in a pretty interesting situation yesterday, and as you can see, we just didn't manage to get back above $165. A lot of resistance there, also downside pressure from the downtrend line. We've got expanding Bollinger Bands, downtrending middle band, and all the indicators downtrending right now. So we are in a symmetrical triangle formation in between these two red trend lines. We're probably going to reach the end of that. It should be coming very soon, actually. And afterwards, we'll either break towards the upside or downside. What's good here with Litecoin is we're going to be getting an indication of how well it's going to be acting in the short term very shortly here. So that may be a hint to what the rest of the market is going to do next. But the only cryptocurrency you can really count on for stuff like that is Bitcoin. At least this will be, a bit of information once we see which side it breaks out of. Now let's move over to Nano, see what Nano is doing. It looks like Nano is just continuing to trend lower right on top of its downtrend line over here, its previous downtrend line. We're still in this formation between our two downtrend lines, but like I said, I think it's likely that we trickle down lower on top of this downtrend line until we reach that 100,000 Satoshi level. And then we really want to try avoiding to drop below that because it could pretty quickly push us down to 50,000 Satoshis. So that's why we want to remain, even if we come and test it, make sure we get a bounce off that 100K mark. Now, moving over to Ripple, take a look at what Ripple has been up to. Go over to Bittrex here. And Ripple is right above its 65-cent support level. We have expanding Bollinger Bands, downtrending indicators, so definitely some bearish signals here. And it's struggling to move higher, right? Very flat candlesticks right above 65 cents. Would not be surprised to see it dip a little bit. What's kind of worrisome with that is if we do drop below 65 cents, we have a bounce opportunity, at around 60 cents, of course 50 cents, but after that, we're probably going to be moving, closer to that 31-cent support level, which was our initial breakout area. So we'll have basically removed any of the gains we made on this massive run-up. And of course, we'll just have to wait and see if that does end up happening, but 65 cents will be our first indication of us moving in that direction. Now, let's go over to NEO. I forgot to cover NEO yesterday. I'm sorry about that. NEO is definitely going to stay in these daily crypto updates. And as you can see, we are coming up on this low on this candlestick over here. That was $63. That is a support level, of course, and we'll see if we can get a bounce there if we do end up testing that again, which seems likely at this point. A lot of downward pressure from this blue downtrend line. Indicators massive downtrend right now, and we are below the 30 line on the RSI. So indicators definitely looking bearish, non-stop price drop. And what I'd say here is there are a couple support levels, 50 cents, $50, sorry. But the next big support level, because right now we're kind of just hanging around the middle of this range between $85 and $43, is the $43 mark, which is our next major support level. So there's a pretty good chance that we come back and test that level. Now let's go over to our next crypto, which is going to be, let's see, Liske, and take a look at what Liske has been up to. Now, Liske is moving a bit lower towards this $12.15 level. We have our MACD that's flattening out, histogram that's coming back up, and nice little bounce back above the 30 line on the RSI. Now, price is moving towards the downside again, but the indicators are actually starting to see some bullish signals. With that being said, I do still feel like we're probably going to end up moving into that $8 range for Liske. So just to recap, on what was I saying previously on cryptocurrencies, how much lower can they go? Looks like we are going to get one last, hit, at least on some of these altcoins. And after that, I think things will really start to slow down as far as the dropping is concerned. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. And I'd be interested to hear your opinion on how low these cryptocurrencies can truly go. Now, let's take a look at our next cryptocurrency. That's going to be Cardano. let's see what Cardano has been doing. So we came up on our downtrend line, faced a lot of resistance from that. We're now moving lower. Our MACD and histogram are looking pretty good. For our RSI, though, we are still below our 30 line, and we're coming back up on the 2,000 Satoshi support level. Probably going to see a little bit of support there, but definitely a fair chance that we do end up dropping below that. What concerns me is next big support level is basically at around 1,254 Satoshis. The good thing, though, is that the Bollinger Bands are starting to come to an end, it looks like, as far as the drop is concerned. So we should start to see over the next 2 to 3 weeks some flattening and then hopefully an increase after that. Finally, we're going to go over IOTA, see what IOTA has been up to. For our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, it looks like we're moving back towards $1. I think we're probably going to see a drop below that. And hopefully we won't be moving all the way to the next support level, which is 35 cents. Definitely a possibility at that point because it is the next major support level after $1. But I hope that we're going to find some support, somewhere halfway through this range, maybe around 70 cents, 60 cents. That would be a likely bounce area as well. Indicators all downtrending. Expanding Bollinger Band is going to leave room for some downside movement, and we just dropped below the 30 line on the RSI. So probably going to see a little bit more of a drop here for IOTA. Once again, this is the end of this video. Let me know how much lower you think cryptocurrencies can go. Thanks for watching and have a great day.